I always knew marriage was a dance. I just didn't know my wife would pick a new partner for the tango. My name is Daniel Cooper, and I'm a financial advisor in suburban Millfield, Connecticut. 40 years old, balding slightly, with the kind of dad bod that screams, "I gave up on abs when my daughter was born." My wife Lisa is 37, an event planner who still thinks she looks 25. Our 12-year-old daughter Katie is the light of my life, smart, funny, and surprisingly mature for her age. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The whole mess started when Katie joined the Millfield Dance Academy. Lisa insisted our daughter needed culture and grace. What Katie got was a new dance coach named Mark Evans, and what I got was a front row seat to my marriage imploding. Mark was 32, with the kind of lean build that comes from years of professional dancing. Dark hair, perfect teeth, and the sort of confidence that made middle-aged mothers forget they were married. He'd moved to Millfield 6 months ago after his successful career in New York supposedly ended due to a knee injury. "Daniel, you should see how Mark works with the girls," Lisa gushed one evening, her cheeks flushed with what I thought was excitement about Katie's progress. "He's so passionate about dance, so dedicated." I should have paid attention to the way she said passionate. The changes started small. Lisa bought new perfume, something expensive and flowery that made our bedroom smell like a funeral parlor. She started doing her makeup for Katie's afternoon lessons, claiming she might network with other parents. She bought dresses that showed more skin than she'd revealed since our honeymoon. "You look nice," I told her one Tuesday as she headed out in a black dress that hugged curves I'd forgotten she had. "Just trying to look professional," she replied, not meeting my eyes. "Image matters in this business." Sure it does, I thought, especially when the business involves a 32-year-old dance instructor with wandering hands. My first real clue came from Jenna Martinez, Lisa's best friend and the town's unofficial gossip coordinator. Jenna had perfected the art of sharing secrets while pretending to be discreet. "Daniel, you're so lucky to have Lisa," she said at Katie's recital, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "She's just glowing these days. Must be all that dancing she's doing." "Dancing?" I asked. "Oh, didn't you know? She's been taking private lessons with Mark. Says she wants to surprise you." Jenna's smile could have cut glass. He's very hands-on with his instruction, from what I hear. That night, I asked Lisa about the lessons. "It's nothing serious," she said, suddenly fascinated by her phone. "Just some basic steps. I thought maybe we could dance together sometime." "We could start now," I suggested, reaching for her hand. She pulled away. "I'm not ready yet. I want to be good enough first." "Right. Because nothing says romantic surprise like months of secret preparation with the town's newest heartthrob." I started paying attention. Lisa's quick trips to the grocery store stretched into 2-hour adventures. Her phone, once carelessly left around the house, became permanently attached to her hand. She started working late on events that didn't seem to exist when I checked her calendar. The breaking point came on a Friday evening in October. Lisa announced she had to work late on a wedding consultation. "On a Friday night?" I asked. "The bride works weekends," Lisa said, already heading for the door. "Don't wait up." After putting Katie to bed, I decided to drive past Lisa's office. The parking lot was empty, her car nowhere to be seen, but I knew where to look next. The Millfield Grand Hotel sat on the edge of town, the kind of place where affairs went to flourish. Lisa's silver Honda was parked in the back lot next to Mark's black BMW. I sat in my car for an hour, watching, hoping I was wrong. At 11:30, they emerged from the hotel's side entrance. Lisa's hair was mussed, her lipstick gone. Mark had his hand on the small of her back, guiding her toward her car. They kissed, not a friendly peck, but the kind of kiss that made my stomach turn. I drove home and waited. Lisa crept in at 1:15, smelling like Mark's cologne, the same scent I'd noticed at the dance studio. "How was the consultation?" I asked from the kitchen doorway. She jumped like I'd fired a gun. "Fine. Good. The bride is very particular." "I bet she is." That weekend, I did what any self-respecting husband would do. I investigated. Lisa and I shared an Apple ID, which meant her text synced to my iPad. What I found made me want to throw the device against the wall. "Mark, can't wait to see you Friday." "Same place, Lisa?" "Yes." I told him I'm working late again. "Mark, poor Daniel. He has no idea what he's missing." Lisa, "He couldn't lead if his life depended on it." Mark, "Good thing you found someone who can." There were dozens of messages, stretching back 2 months. Hotel reservations, inside jokes about my cooking, my clothes, my boring job. They'd turned my marriage into their private comedy show. But the worst part wasn't the affair itself. It was how stupid they thought I was. I called my friend Paul Rodriguez, a contractor who'd helped me renovate our basement. Paul was the kind of guy who'd help you move a body without asking questions, though in this case, I was hoping for something less dramatic. "She's cheating?" Paul asked when I explained the situation. "With Katie's dance teacher." Paul whistled low. "That's messed up, man. What are you going to do?" "I'm not sure yet, but I'm not going down without a fight." "You want me to have a talk with this Mark guy? I know some people who—" "No violence, Paul. I want to be smart about this." "Smart's good, but if you change your mind—" I spent the next week gathering evidence. Photos of Lisa and Mark at the hotel, screenshots of their texts, credit card statements showing charges at restaurants I'd never been to, hotels I'd never seen. I felt like a private investigator, only poorer and with more heartburn. The Millfield Dance Academy had a strict policy about instructors fraternizing with clients or their families. I found it buried in the employee handbook on their website. Mark had signed a morality clause that specifically forbade romantic relationships with students or their relatives. But I wanted more than just getting Mark fired. I wanted them both to understand what it felt like to be humiliated, to have their private business become public entertainment. My opportunity came at the annual dance showcase in November. The entire town would be there, watching their precious daughters perform. Lisa had been planning the event for weeks, working closely with Mark to coordinate the performances. I bought a ticket and sat in the back row, watching Lisa flutter around Mark like a teenager with a crush. She'd worn her black dress again, the one that made other fathers stare. Mark kept finding excuses to touch her, adjusting her hair, guiding her with his hand on her back, whispering things that made her giggle. "Disgusting," muttered Mrs. Patterson, whose daughter was in Katie's class. Some people have no shame. The gossip mill was already turning. I wasn't the only one who'd noticed Lisa and Mark's chemistry. During intermission, I approached Mrs. Doyle, the studio owner. She was a no-nonsense woman in her 60s who'd built the academy from nothing. "Beautiful event," I said. "Lisa did wonderful work," Mrs. Doyle replied. "She and Mark make quite a team." "They certainly do. I hope Mark's enjoying his time here. I'd hate for anything to jeopardize his position." Mrs. Doyle gave me a sharp look. "Is there something I should know, Daniel?" I smiled. "Not yet, but you might want to review your employee handbook, specifically the section about professional conduct." That planted the seed. Now I needed to water it. I spent the next few days digging deeper into Mark's background. What I found was interesting. Mark Evans had left his previous job at a dance studio in Hartford under mysterious circumstances. The studio's Yelp reviews from that time period mentioned inappropriate behavior and unprofessional conduct before being mysteriously deleted. More digging revealed that Mark had been quietly let go after a complaint from a parent about his relationship with a married client. No charges were filed, but the scandal had effectively ended his career in Hartford. Lisa had no idea she was just the latest in a pattern. On a cold Wednesday evening in late November, I was working in my home office when I heard a car door slam in our driveway. Through the window, I saw Mark's BMW. He was walking toward our front door. I answered before he could knock. "Daniel," he said, flashing his perfect smile. "Is Lisa home?" "She's at the grocery store. What do you need?" "Just wanted to discuss Katie's progress. She's very talented." We stood there for a moment, sizing each other up. Mark was taller than me, more athletic, but I had 20 pounds on him, and the home field advantage. "You know," I said, "I've been meaning to thank you." "Thank me?" "For being so dedicated to your students, so hands-on. I really appreciate how much personal attention you give to the families." Mark's smile faltered slightly. "It's my job?" "Of course it is, though I imagine some aspects of the job are more enjoyable than others." "I'm not sure what you mean." I stepped closer. "I think you know exactly what I mean, Mark. The question is, what are we going to do about it?" Mark took a step back. "Look, if you have concerns about Katie's instruction is fine. It's your extracurricular activities that concern me." His face went pale. "I don't know what you think you know. I know about the hotel. I know about the texts. I know about Hartford." That last part was a gamble, but it paid off. Mark's face went from pale to gray. "Hartford was a misunderstanding," he said quickly. "Was it? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like a pattern. Married clients, secret meetings, broken homes. You're like a wrecking ball in dance shoes." Mark straightened up, trying to regain his composure. "You can't prove anything." I pulled out my phone and showed him a photo of him and Lisa leaving the hotel. "Actually, I can prove quite a bit. The question is, do you want me to?" "What do you want?" I want you to understand something, Mark. This isn't some romantic comedy where you get the girl and ride off into the sunset. This is real life, with real consequences. And I'm going to make sure you face every single one of them. Mark's hands were shaking now. You're threatening me. I'm educating you. There's a difference. He turned and walked back to his car without another word. I watched him drive away, my heart pounding. The war had officially begun. Lisa came home an hour later, her cheeks flushed from the cold, or from something else. How was the store? I asked. Fine. Crowded. She avoided my eyes. Did anyone stop by? Mark came looking for you. Her face lit up before she caught herself. Oh? What did he want? To discuss Katie's progress. I told him you were out. Did he say anything else? We had a nice chat about professional conduct and appropriate boundaries. Lisa stared at me for a long moment. Daniel, is everything okay? I smiled. Everything's perfect, honey. Just perfect. The next phase of my plan required patience. I couldn't just expose the affair. I needed to destroy both of them completely. That meant waiting for the right moment and gathering more ammunition. I started monitoring the studio's finances, looking for any irregularities. Mark had access to petty cash for supplies and equipment. If he was as careless with money as he was with other people's wives, I might find something useful. My break came in early December. While reviewing the studio's public tax filings, I noticed discrepancies in reported income versus the number of students enrolled. Someone was skimming money, and Mark was the newest employee with financial access. I cross-referenced the studio's bank deposits with the class schedules Lisa had helped create. Several private lessons that Mark claimed to have taught had never actually happened, but the fees had been collected and supposedly paid to him. Mark Evans wasn't just an adulterer, he was a thief. I documented everything, building a case that would destroy him professionally and legally. But I still needed the perfect moment to strike. That moment came at the Christmas gala in mid-December. The entire town would be there, including parents, students, and local dignitaries. Lisa had spent weeks planning the event, working late every night to ensure everything was perfect. Of course, working late had become code for meeting Mark at the hotel. The gala was held at the Millfield Community Center, decorated with twinkling lights and gold streamers. Parents filled the auditorium, cameras ready to capture their daughters' performances. I sat in the third row, directly behind the mayor and his wife. Lisa looked stunning in a red dress that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. She stood near the stage with Mark, clipboard in hand, directing the chaos with practiced efficiency. They made a beautiful couple, I had to admit. Too bad it was all about to come crashing down. During the opening number, I sent an email to Mrs. Doyle with all the evidence I'd gathered. Photos of Lisa and Mark at the hotel, screenshots of their texts, documentation of Mark's financial irregularities, and information about his previous scandal in Hartford. The subject line read, Urgent, Professional Conduct Violation, Mark Evans. Halfway through Katie's solo performance, she was magnificent, by the way, I saw Mrs. Doyle checking her phone. Her face went through a series of expressions: confusion, shock, anger, and finally, cold determination. She stood up and walked toward the stage area where Mark was standing. The conversation was brief but intense. Mark's face went white as Mrs. Doyle showed him her phone screen. Lisa noticed the commotion and hurried over. What happened next was better than I could have scripted. Mrs. Doyle's voice carried across the auditorium. Mark Evans, you are terminated immediately. Please leave the premises. The music stopped. Every head in the audience turned toward the stage. Mark tried to argue, but Mrs. Doyle was having none of it. Security will escort you out if necessary, she announced loudly enough for everyone to hear. Lisa grabbed Mark's arm, trying to calm him down. Big mistake. Mrs. Doyle turned her attention to my wife. Mrs. Cooper, your services as event coordinator are no longer needed. This gala is concluded. The auditorium erupted in whispers and gasps. Parents pulled out their phones, recording the drama. Lisa's face was crimson as she realized the entire town was watching her humiliation. Mark stormed toward the exit, but not before shooting me a look of pure hatred. I smiled and gave him a little wave. Lisa followed him, leaving Katie standing alone on the stage, confused and embarrassed. I stood up and walked to my daughter, putting my arm around her shoulders. Dad, what's happening? She whispered. Just some adult drama, sweetheart. You were amazing up there. The drive home was silent. Lisa had taken her own car, probably to have a crisis meeting with Mark. Katie sat in the passenger seat, still in her dance costume, trying to process what she'd witnessed. Is Mom in trouble? She asked as we pulled into our driveway. Your mom made some bad choices, kiddo. But whatever happens, it's not your fault, and I'll always be here for you. Katie nodded, wise beyond her years. I know, Dad. I love you. I love you too. Lisa didn't come home that night, or the next night. On the third day, she showed up while Katie was at school, looking like she hadn't slept in weeks. We need to talk, she said. I'm listening. Daniel, I know you're angry. Angry doesn't begin to cover it. But we can work through this. What happened with Mark was a mistake. A stupid, terrible mistake. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. A mistake? Lisa, you had a 2-month affair with our daughter's dance teacher. You humiliated me, embarrassed Katie, and destroyed our family. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. I never meant for it to go so far. But it did, and now you have to live with the consequences. Lisa started crying. Please, Daniel, I'll do anything. We can go to counseling, start over. It's too late for that. It's not too late. We have 12 years together, a daughter. We had 12 years. You threw them away for a few nights with a con artist who's probably moved on to his next victim by now. That's not fair. Fair? I stood up, my voice rising. You want to talk about fair? Was it fair when you and Mark laughed about how boring I am? Was it fair when you lied to my face every single day? Was it fair when you destroyed our daughter's Christmas gala with your selfish behavior? Lisa flinched at each accusation. I know I hurt you. You didn't just hurt me, Lisa. You destroyed us. And the worst part is, you're not even sorry. You're just sorry you got caught. That's not true, isn't it? Because from where I'm standing, the only thing you regret is that your affair became public knowledge. Lisa wiped her eyes. What do you want me to say? Nothing. There's nothing left to say. So that's it? You're giving up on us? I'm not giving up on us, Lisa. You already did that when you started sleeping with Mark. She left after that, and I began preparing for the legal battle ahead. I hired Jennifer Walsh, the best divorce attorney in the county. Jennifer was a shark in a business suit, known for her ruthless tactics and impressive win record. You have a strong case, she told me after reviewing my evidence. Adultery, abandonment of the family home, public humiliation. We can ask for full custody and significant alimony. I don't want her money. I just want my daughter. We'll get her. The divorce proceedings began in January. Lisa hired her own attorney, a sleazy guy named Rick Morrison, who specialized in defending cheating spouses. Rick's strategy was to paint me as a controlling husband who drove Lisa into Mark's arms. It might have worked if I hadn't been so thorough in documenting everything. The custody hearing was scheduled for February 14th, Valentine's Day. The irony wasn't lost on me. Lisa showed up looking contrite and well-dressed, playing the role of the repentant wife. Her attorney argued that she deserved joint custody and that her affair was irrelevant to her abilities as a mother. Then Jennifer presented our evidence. Photos of Lisa and Mark at the hotel, screenshots of their text messages, including the ones where they mocked me and joked about their deception. Testimony from other parents about Lisa's inappropriate behavior at dance events. Financial records showing that Lisa had used our joint credit card to pay for hotel rooms and expensive dinners with Mark. But the real bombshell came when Jennifer called Mark Evans to testify. Mark had been arrested 2 weeks earlier for embezzling money from the dance studio. Facing criminal charges and desperate to reduce his sentence, he'd agreed to cooperate with any legal proceedings related to his time in Millfield. Mr. Evans, Jennifer said, did you have a relationship with Lisa Cooper? Yes. How long did this relationship last? About 2 months. During this time, were you aware that Mrs. Cooper was married? Yes. Did Mrs. Cooper ever express any intention to leave her husband for you? Mark glanced at Lisa, who was staring at him in horror. No, she said she wanted to keep things casual. She said her husband was boring and she needed some excitement, but she wasn't looking for anything serious. Lisa's face went white. Her attorney was frantically scribbling notes, probably trying to figure out how to salvage the situation. Jennifer continued. Did Mrs. Cooper encourage you to pursue other married women at the dance studio? Objection! Rick Morrison jumped up. I'll allow it, the judge said. Mark shifted uncomfortably. She said there were other wives who might be interested in private lessons. She offered to introduce me to some of them. The courtroom erupted in whispers. Lisa wasn't just an unfaithful wife. She was actively helping Mark target other married women. No further questions, Jennifer said, sitting down with a satisfied smile. Rick Morrison's cross-examination was a disaster. Every question he asked just made Lisa look worse. Mark, motivated by his plea deal, answered everything honestly and completely. The judge's decision was swift and decisive. Full custody to me, with Lisa getting supervised visitation every other weekend. The house, the cars, and most of our assets stayed with me. Lisa was ordered to pay child support and cover Katie's therapy costs. As we left the courthouse, Lisa tried one last time to talk to me. Daniel, please. I know I made mistakes, but Katie needs her mother. Katie needs stability and honesty, two things you can't provide. I can change. Maybe, but not in time to save our family. Lisa's friends had abandoned her after the gala incident. The story of her affair and Mark's criminal activities had spread through Millfield like wildfire. She was persona non grata at the country club, uninvited to social events, and shunned by the other mothers at Katie's school. She moved to an apartment across town and got a job at a corporate event planning company in Hartford. Our interactions were limited to brief exchanges during her supervised visits with Katie. Mark Evans was sentenced to 18 months in prison for embezzlement. He'd also been sued by several other dance studios for similar crimes. His career was over, his reputation destroyed, and his future prospects dim. But my revenge wasn't complete yet. On a rainy Thursday evening in March, 6 months after the Christmas gala disaster, Lisa showed up at my house unannounced. She was soaked from the rain, her hair plastered to her head, looking desperate and defeated. Daniel, I need to see Katie. It's not your scheduled day. Please, I'm her mother. You should have thought about that before you decided to destroy our family. I made a mistake. How many times do I have to apologize? Apologizing doesn't fix anything, Lisa. It doesn't undo the damage you caused. She pushed past me into the house. Katie, come here. My daughter appeared at the top of the stairs, looking confused and uncomfortable. Mom, what are you doing here? I wanted to see you, baby. I miss you so much. Katie walked slowly down the stairs. At 12 years old, she was already taller than her mother and infinitely more mature. Mom, you're not supposed to be here without the social worker. Forget about that. I'm your mother. We don't need some stranger supervising our visits. Dad, should I call Mrs. Henderson? Katie asked me. Before I could answer, Lisa exploded. I can't believe you've turned my own daughter against me. I haven't turned anyone against you, Lisa. Your actions have consequences. My actions? What about your actions? You destroyed Mark's life. You had him arrested. Mark destroyed his own life by stealing money and sleeping with married women. I just made sure he faced the consequences. You planned this whole thing. You set us up. I documented your affair and his crimes. That's not setting you up. That's holding you accountable. Lisa was screaming now, her composure completely gone. You're vindictive and cruel. You wanted to destroy me. I wanted to protect my daughter from parents who lie and cheat and steal. If that destroyed you, maybe you should look in the mirror. Katie was crying now, overwhelmed by her mother's outburst. Lisa saw her daughter's tears and tried to approach her, but Katie stepped back. Mom, please stop yelling. I'm not yelling at you, baby. I'm yelling at your father for poisoning you against me. Dad didn't poison me against anyone. I saw what happened at the gala. I heard the things people were saying. I'm not stupid. Lisa stared at her daughter in shock. Katie, you embarrassed me in front of the whole town. You embarrassed Dad. You embarrassed our family. And now you're here yelling and making everything worse. I was trying to be happy. You were trying to be selfish, Katie said with devastating clarity. And now everyone's miserable because of it. Lisa broke down completely, sobbing on our living room floor. Katie looked at her mother with a mixture of pity and disappointment that broke my heart. I think you should leave, I said quietly. Lisa looked up at me through her tears. You won, Daniel. Are you happy now? You got everything you wanted. I didn't want any of this, Lisa. I wanted a wife who loved me and a family that stayed together. You're the one who decided that wasn't enough. She stood up slowly, her dignity in tatters. This isn't over. Yes, it is. Lisa walked toward the door, then turned back one last time. I hope you're satisfied with what you've done. I'm satisfied that my daughter will grow up knowing that actions have consequences and that people who betray the ones they love will face justice. You call this justice? I call it the natural result of your choices. Lisa left without another word. Through the window, I watched her sit in her car for several minutes, crying. Finally, she drove away into the rain. Katie came and stood beside me. Dad, are you okay? I'm fine, sweetheart. Are you? I feel bad for Mom, but I'm glad she's gone. Why? Because when she's here, everything feels crazy and scary. When it's just us, everything feels normal. I hugged my daughter, marveling at her wisdom and strength. I love you, Katie. I love you too, Dad. That night, after Katie went to bed, I sat in my home office and reflected on the past year. I'd lost a wife, but I'd gained something more valuable, the knowledge that I could protect what mattered most to me. I'd also learned that revenge, when executed with patience and precision, could be more satisfying than I'd ever imagined. Lisa had wanted excitement and passion. Instead, she'd gotten public humiliation and social exile. Mark had wanted easy money and available women. Instead, he'd gotten a prison sentence and a ruined reputation. They'd both underestimated the boring, predictable husband who couldn't lead if his life depended on it. Turned out I could lead just fine. I just needed the right music. 6 months later, Lisa moved to California to start over. She sends Katie birthday cards and Christmas presents, but she's essentially disappeared from our lives. Katie seems relieved rather than sad about her mother's absence. Mark Evans was released from prison after serving 14 months. Last I heard, he was working at a car wash in Springfield and living in a studio apartment. His dreams of being a dance instructor are over forever. Mrs. Doyle asked me to join the Dance Academy's board of directors. "We need people with integrity," she said, "people who understand the importance of appropriate boundaries." I accepted the position. It seemed fitting. Katie still dances, though she's moved to a different studio across town. She's thriving, her confidence restored, her talent undeniable. Sometimes I watch her perform and think about how close we came to losing everything. But we didn't lose everything. We lost the people who didn't deserve to be part of our lives, and we kept what really mattered. Last week, Katie asked me if I ever missed Mom. "I miss the person I thought she was," I told her. "But I don't miss the person she actually turned out to be." "Do you think she misses us?" "I think she misses the life she threw away, but missing something and deserving it back are two different things." Katie nodded, understanding more than any 12-year-old should have to. "Dad? Yeah? I'm glad you fought for us. I'm glad I won." As I write this, it's been exactly 1 year since the Christmas gala that changed everything. Katie and I are planning a quiet celebration, just the two of us, some takeout Chinese food, and a movie marathon. It's not the family Christmas I once imagined, but it's honest and peaceful and ours. Lisa sent a card last week, addressed to both of us. Inside, she'd written, "I hope someday you can forgive me." I showed it to Katie, who read it without expression. "Are you going to forgive her?" she asked. "Forgiveness is different from trust," I explained. "I can forgive her for being human and making mistakes, but I'll never trust her not to make the same mistakes again." What's the difference? Forgiveness means I'm not angry anymore. Trust means I believe someone won't hurt me again. Your mother lost my trust forever, but she doesn't have to carry my anger forever. Katie thought about this for a moment. "I think I understand." "Good, because someday you might need to make the same choice about someone who hurts you." "I hope I'm as strong as you were, Dad." "You're already stronger than you know." Tonight, as I tuck Katie into bed, I realize that my revenge is complete. Not because I destroyed Lisa and Mark, though I certainly did that, but because I saved the most important thing in my life, my relationship with my daughter. Lisa wanted to dance with someone new. Mark wanted easy money and easier women. They both got exactly what they deserved. Nothing. And me? I got everything that mattered. My daughter's love, my self-respect, and the satisfaction of knowing that sometimes the good guys really do win. I've always hated dancing. Looks like I finally got to lead.